Welcome everybody back to Level Headed. We are shooting actually in my hometown, Dallas, Texas. So excited to be here with my partner, Mr. Mike Lindell. Welcome back, Mike.
Jack, it's awesome to be here in your hometown.
That's right, man. So as you all know, Level Headed is here to bring you that non-biased perspective. This is a different type of news. And actually, this show is going to be about truth, about really addressing those things that the media puts out there. You know, I've been attacked. Really attacked viciously like never before in my life over the past 2 weeks. But what's so disappointing is all the rhetoric and all the lies, and folks are just talking without taking into account what's really true. So this level-headed show, Mike, we're going to go right back at the enemy, right? With God's truth, we're going to go back at them and really tell the world what's going on, man.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when, what was it, last Sunday or whatever, a week ago Sunday, when you called me up and go, check this out, and I open up my phone and I'm going, it's all Jack, Uncle Tom, you named it, with every word, mocking you and putting you down. I'm going, what did he say? I mean, what's so bad? Just complimenting our president.
It's unbelievable. So I want you all to hear. I had an opportunity to go to the White House, and it was an incredible opportunity. As most of you know, I put my heart and soul into serving the black community, both here in the U.S. and across the world. And in doing so, the president and the administration wanted to acknowledge me as a black leader. I've been very vocal in support of the president when it was time to support him, and I've been very vocal against him when he said and done things that I didn't agree with. And so for me to get attacked like that really showed me what the enemy was putting at me and what I was up against, and what we are up against as a nation. Absolutely. And so I want you all to hear the praises that the president actually said about me at the White House.
And he's sharp as a tack. Jack Brewer, a great player. Where's Jack? A great NFL player. Jack, thank you. And I loved what you said before. I don't know if they were listening to the media. They don't want to hear those words, Jack, But what you said, I know they are, and I appreciate you saying them too.
So, Mike, from that, I'm thinking, I'm praising a president who's really done more for African Americans than any president in my lifetime. Ever. Not even close. And so the viciousness started coming out, and this is something that you've talked about before, because you've actually been attacked in a similar fashion.
Well, yeah, I was attacked in 2016. I wasn't even political. I didn't know anything about politics, and I go out he invited me out to meet him in August 15, 2016. So I fly out to New York to Trump Tower, and I get this half-hour private meeting with him, and I walk out of there. I go, wow, all the things he said he was going to do, and we got Made in America and all this. I couldn't wait to get back and tell the world. Right. I get back to Minnesota. I put a press release out, and I said that I meant not even what we talked about. And they called me a racist. They called me everything. Not one channel put me on TV. And it doesn't let up, Jack. I was telling you that you're just now they're going to come at you huge. Right. And it lets up a little bit, but then they're waiting for the next thing.
They're waiting for the
next thing. Just at that same meeting, I was there with you at that Black History Month at the White House, and in the other room, the president invited me in there and we took a picture, and he told everybody I'm announcing Mike Lindell is my new campaign manager for Minnesota for the Trump campaign. And he said, now if we lose, Mike, you know who to blame. We're kidding.
That's right.
But the press attacked me right away the next day, and I'm just, it's minor, but not compared to you. And I'm going, and all of a sudden, yours was like a little delay, like they were all in a war room, going, oh, now let's just hammer Jack.
Hammer me.
Yeah, let's just go after Jack. And I'm going, I figured, that all the good that you're doing, and the good that you've done, I was with you in the prisons and all the stuff you're doing. It's the exact opposite of what they're trying to say and say you are. That's just incredible. It's just like they did to me. Right. My heart was to help everyone, so I come back and tell people about this guy that's going to be our president, and to tell, because we have firsthand knowledge.
That's right.
You've went where you actually, back in the day with Obama. You heard promises made by other presidents,
And I supported him.
And you supported him.
For what he was telling me, I supported him. I raised money for him. And Mike, someone like yourself, the president goes and finds you, who you're probably the most well-known person from the state of Minnesota, the pride and joy of that state. You're touching the people there. You're influencing those folks positively. You stand for Jesus. And you would think that they would acknowledge and like the fact that the president wants someone like you representing them. But no, they bash him for that. And who else are you supposed to talk to if you want to do better for your people other than the president of the United States?
I wanted to know where he stood on things that I want. You know, I come from an addiction. All the things I'm doing now with my recovery network and all these things, the president's on board with. I get firsthand knowledge. I get to hear, wow, he's got, all this bureaucracy that would stop things from getting done. And all these, I'll tell you, for me, they can't take that from me, what I know about Donald Trump. Here he's a problem solution. Here's the problem, here's the solution. But one more thing. It's where it manifests to. That's a gift from God.
Yes,
where does it manifest to in our daily lives? And people don't get that. And we both met him now, and it's like you know where his heart is. That when people say that to me, people come up to me. Here's another one. They'll come up to me. They go, and you'll get this too. They're going, yeah, Mike, I really love what you're doing, but what's wrong with your brain that you're backing this president? I'm going, well, then you're calling me stupid.
That's right.
Everything I'm doing is what he's doing.
100%.
Everything he's behind, everything we're doing. I mean, that's everything we're doing. I have not heard one thing come out of the White House that's against the things you and I are trying to get done. With addiction, with the prison, with the black community, everything that you're working on, and that I'm working on, we're working on together. He's all for it.
All for it. And I said this yesterday on social media. If you haven't seen something and you haven't touched something, then don't attack it, because you don't have the access to actually understand and have the knowledge of what's really going on. And so, Mike, as we head into break, I'm going to come back and let everyone hear some of those vicious comments that came at me, came against my family, and came against my friends. You guys, this is Level Headed. I'm Jack Brewer with Mike Lindell. As you can tell, this is going to be a fiery episode.
Fire 'em up.
That's right. Bringing the truth. This is Level Headed. We'll be right back. Brewer Wellness Shop is proud to help the most vulnerable Americans. If you purchase a 10-pack of masks today for $8.99, we will donate an additional 10 masks. Shop with us at brewerwellnessshop.com. That's brewerwellnessshop.com. So, welcome back to Level Headed. We're going to jump right into this truth. This truth that I don't think, folks like CNN and Keith Boykin, I don't think they really live in truth. You guys listen to what this guy had to say about me. Thank God for folks at Fox News, Laura Ingraham, who had my back, and the president who's had my back. But you all check out this episode from the other day. I got to say this because it's the Black History Month. Man, you're the first black president.
Though he obviously didn't mean it literally, the remarks you just heard from former football star Jack Brewer sparked outrage on the left.
The reality is he doesn't care about black people except as a potential voting bloc. He has not made any serious effort to reach black people. The idea that anybody would sit in a room with Donald Trump and call him the first black president after we had Barack Obama as the president of the United States shows just what kind of Uncle Toms were sitting in that room in the first place.
Laura, it's misrepresentation, and it's people that are uneducated on the facts. And so, the reason I said what I said was to stir the pot and expose the evilness that is really going on. I mean, for folks to really deny the fact that Donald Trump has helped black people as much as he has, the policies, Laura, I mean, the man gave HBCUs long-term funding when the administrations before him would never do that. They made these black schools continue to come back and beg for money. I mean, they've criminal justice reform. You look at criminal justice reform, Laura, and you say the Obama administration sat there with Joe Biden, who actually wrote the crime bill that locked up and mass incarcerated millions of black men, taking the fathers out of our homes. How can that not upset black America when President Obama sits in office for 8 years and doesn't release these folks? Why does Donald Trump have to give Alice Johnson clemency? I mean, these things go on and on again, and you can't argue the facts. And the facts are that Donald Donald Trump has passed more policies for black folks than any president since Lincoln.
Just what kind of Uncle Toms were sitting in that room in the first place? Well, Mr. Keith Boykin, let me tell you about the Uncle Toms in that room. Alveda King, MLK's niece. How much of an Uncle Tom is she? Well, she's so much of an Uncle Tom that she is the person that pushed for criminal justice reform. She is the reason why those black women that you saw the other day got clemency. She put her name on that, right? When Angela Stanton got clemency, that's because of Alveda King, right? When you see the president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, passing the first ever major bill for historical black colleges and universities, that was because Alveda King was in his ear advocating. Mr. Boykin, that's what black leaders do. Black leaders meet with leadership to actually get things done for black people. They don't sit on TVs being a pundit, doing nothing with their hands. Black leaders live their words through the work of their hands. And so this Uncle Tom that you're talking about, I feed 15,000 little black kids every single day. I've done that for 20 years. I've worked tirelessly in communities, not just in the U.S., but in Haiti and in Malawi, and in places like Haiti where I've opened up the first medical center for women and children. Places like Malawi where we've screened over 15,000 women of cervical and breast cancer. All black, all black. These are the Uncle Toms that were in the room with President Trump. And I think it's just disgusting and despicable for you to use your media, your airtime, when you should be advocating for African Americans, when you should be feeding our black youth truth, when you should be empowering our black folks. You don't do that. You don't stand up against Barack Obama when he goes into Haiti and his administration misappropriates over $13 billion. This is the poorest black nation on earth. Haiti had a GDP at this time in 2009. Their GDP was just over $6 billion. So we give them almost $14 billion at one shot, 2.5 times their total GDP. And now they're more poor than they were before this crisis. And you're okay with that? You're okay with Barack Obama, who names his vice president, Joe Biden, who was the author of the '94 crime bill that literally locked up millions of black men. He sat in office for 8 years. All the clemencies that Donald Trump has passed for black folks went right past Obama's desk. He never stood up against the '94 crime bill. He never stood up against mass incarceration. Why? Because his buddy, as vice president, wrote the bill and he didn't want to go against him. Why didn't he stand up for Haiti, the first black nation, the first independent black nation on earth? Because his Secretary of State and his buddy Bill Clinton are the ones that misappropriated the funds. And so these are the people you should be standing up against if you want to call out Uncle Toms. But you won't do that. You won't do that because you're a part of the system. You've always been. You want the Democrats to continue to have power despite in every poor black neighborhood is represented by a Democrat in office that has done nothing for their people except push policies that want to increase welfare programs. They want to take fathers out of the homes. Are you not mad about that? The fact that all of the entitlement programs under Obama disincentivize fatherhood. Father comes into the house, a mother loses her support. I'm not okay with that, brother. The reason why I fight so hard for these kids in the inner cities, the reason why I go into these schools and try to bridge the gap of fatherlessness is because I care. I've cared all my life. And so, yeah, I take offense to what you said because I don't believe in what you believe in. I don't believe in going against the Bible. I don't believe in changing the biblical definition of marriage. I know you do, brother. You're okay with that. But in my world, that's demonic. And I will always stand against that. And I'll always stand for the word of God. So, brother, I look forward to your rebuttal. I look forward to you guys at CNN having me on, someone who can articulate these facts, right? You won't put me on your TV airways to talk about this stuff because you don't want our black brothers and sisters to have the truth. I'm not okay with that. To those millions of prisoners, to the thousands of prisoners that I touch each and every week. I teach in 9 prisons around the country. And those prisoners that I touch, and I tell you that I'm going to go out and advocate for you. I'm going to stand for the First Step Act. I'm going to stand for you bringing programming into our prisons so we can give these men a second chance. I'm going to continue to do that. And Keith Boykin, I'm not sure what you're doing with your hands, but I know what I'm doing with mine. And so we're going to go to break after this because I just wanted this to be a direct response to Keith Boykin. This is level-headed. I'll always stay level-headed. I'll always stay true. And you'll never stop me from fighting for my people. We'll be right back. Brewer Wellness Shop is proud to help the most vulnerable Americans. If you purchase a 10-pack of masks today for $8.99, we will donate an additional 10 masks. Shop with us at brewerwellnessshop.com. That's brewerwellnessshop.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Level Headed. This show, we have to try to do our best to keep it real, bring you truth, bring that balanced perspective to news. And since we are in the news, and Mike and myself, sometimes we get attacked. We have to bounce back.
That's right. Wow, what a job you just did there. I just went like this. And you go, Jack. Amen.
Yeah, Mike, they attack you. They attack me is one thing, but then when you start attacking my family and you attack.
I know that's just it. I haven't had too much of that experience, and but it's been my company. They go after my company. They go after my company. That's their number one. They'll attack my pillow and so on. But if we roll into the Hope Report, I got some good news.
That's right. We can all positive. And Mike, we talk about hope. This is really what I think got to the president's heart is the fact that I thanked him.
Yeah.
I thanked him because I let him know when he passed the First Step Act, that brought me so much hope. It rejuvenated me.
Absolutely.
To go into the prisons even deeper because I knew we had policy that was going to allow these guys to get out of prison and go on and do something about it. And so he brought me hope. And I know for you, you've been able to do that to so many people, man. And even when you walked in today, I'm like, Mike, can we shoot a show without a tie? Can we shoot a show without a tie?
I've worn more ties in the last 2 years than I have all my life.
Unbelievable. But you were speaking, right?
Yeah. I was speaking. I did the National Drug and Alcohol Screening Association, and some of these are booked, months out, and I'm speaking all over the place. But with my Hope Report, that I have today, it's like what you said. You see it just in one little thing with the prisons. I was with you, Jack, when we went to that prison. What gave me hope there was the prisons were doing stuff for the prisoners for when they get out. Right. The president, it's one thing to have him, a president that will look at the problems. Here's the solution. But now he knows, these guys that are going to get out, it's not like back in the day. Our prisons are doing good things to get them ready to go out in society. So they're going to be back with their families and have their fathers back. And what it's going to manifest to is families and stuff, bringing our country back to a time when you had the father and the mother and the family units but I see so many things, and I get to hear firsthand a lot with the administration, with different people. And here's one thing I want to say that gives me hope. We have a president that doesn't do things for politics. Right. He does it because he wants to help and he wants to solve problems that manifest to joy in our daily lives. I know for a fact right now he's doing so many things in California. Nobody knows about it because you know what? He's not going to win their vote, probably. Right. But he's doing it because there's people there that need help. And it's
and no one knows that.
Nobody
knows
give him
any credit for it.
And he doesn't get credit for it. But it gives me hope that we have a president. He'll look at, what's the best way to do this? What's the best? It's a businessman attitude, but it's a businessman with a good heart. Yeah. His heart is where it's at. You got heart. If you just had I'm just doing it so I can win elections and stuff. That's what we've had all along. Right. That's what I think. When you back in the day, like I said, I didn't know anything about politics. So when he called him the swamp, I go, well, how bad is it there? Well, it turns out it was pretty bad, right?
Right.
I got to meet a lot of these people before they're not there anymore, and. Yep. And I'm telling you, they had just the attitude of being in politics and being, just almost for their own self-serving agenda.
And that does give you hope. The Hope Report, people across this nation see a Mike Lindell, right? They know you were a former crack addict,
Right.
been able to do what you have, creating a business. You're sitting next to the president during the manufacturing summit. He's bringing in people that are actually doing it. I just had a conversation with the White House recently, and they want me to help them figure out how to better serve the inner city communities.
Right.
What are the issues?
Right.
How can we address the fatherlessness? Those are things that give you hope. I may not agree with everything the president says. I say it over and over again. But his job is to protect America, right? And bring opportunity to our citizens.
Right.
And if he's doing his job, give the man credit.
Yeah.
You don't got to want to have a beer with him. You don't want to have him at your dinner table.
Right.
That's up to you.
Right.
But don't pretend like he's not doing the job when the policies are right there in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And for him to bring in, he's one of the things people don't know about him. He's a great listener, and he's bringing in people that have been there. What better thing he's bringing me in, for he knows about my Lindell Recovery Network. Well, but my thing, the stuff that's going on there. When I was there when he signed the opiate bill, Jack, these things. What better people to put into place that have been there than know how and know what the problems are and let them figure it out. Just like he did to me, like in Minnesota. He goes, Mike's running my campaign in Minnesota. Well, because he knows I've been there. I know the problems in Minnesota.
That's right.
In Minnesota, we have problems other states don't have.
That's right.
You think the coasts have problems. I think you're the one that said the highest black unemployment rate in the United States
in the country.
In Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mike, Minnesota.
When the Minnesota Golden Gophers brought me in, and this is 1996.
Right.
They brought me in for a visit.
Right.
The first thing they told me is they pointed to downtown Minneapolis and they said, this is the best place in America for a black man to come work. Yeah. They told me that. And to sit here today at 41 years old, right? 25 years later, and to think that same city now has the worst unemployment for blacks, it's despicable.
It is. It really is. And I really believe that it's because all the great things this administration is doing, and I believe that Minnesota is pushing back on it. They're pushing back on it, just like when he came there to do a rally. The mayor of Minneapolis didn't want anything to do with it. I was slammed on that one just because, I went and spoke at it. Jack, you were with me.
Well, yes.
And
yes,
this
I
is,
was.
And then the media puts it out there like there's all this pushback, from the people. No, we didn't see that, did we?
We didn't see it at all.
20,000 people inside, 20,000 outside cheering on.
And the weather was bad.
But you're going to see it's a wake-up call for this country is just look at what's gotten done. This is my hope. The hope is if you view. One of the things too about our president, he'll take in a room. He'll take every single person like that. That's the only person in his view.
That's right.
How you doing today? How you doing? I was in the White House the other day, and I was talking to some of the Secret Service and some of the guys that are inside the White House all the time. And here's a kid that was in there. He was like an intern, been there 2 years. He says, you know what? I said, how's it going? How is he to work with? He goes, every time he comes down, he personally comes up and says, how you doing today?
That's great.
And that's amazing. And he's not doing it to get the guy's vote. Right. He cares about cares about people. I think that people don't realize that. It's like, and like you said, it's look at what's been getting done, and not just by what he's doing. It's the things he's letting people do what they were called on this earth to do.
100%.
That's the biggest thing.
He's getting people who are actually doers, who do it with their hands. Yeah. And I think, as we close out this segment, it's important to realize that when you have a leader who can go out and touch someone, whether it's like me or like you in your business, and you with opioid bill and all of those things, that he wants to talk to us who are out there. He's not trying to make those decisions. He brought tears to my eyes when I was in there, and I saw Alveda King, who was sitting there, and Angela Stanton, and people were slamming her, and to hear all these folks come out, D.L. Hughley and Keith Boykins of the world, Snoop Dogg, all of these folks come out against those folks in that room. Angela Stanton sat there and was in prison and had to give birth to a baby her daughter, tied up, handcuffed to the bed.
Wow.
Handcuffed to the
Wow,
bed.
wow.
Once she had the baby, she was hemorrhaging so bad she couldn't stop the bleeding. The prison wouldn't give her enough padding to stop the bleeding. She had to use her T-shirt.
Oh, wow.
Take her T-shirt off to stop the hemorrhaging after having a baby. So what happens? Albie the King brings her story to Donald Trump. Donald Trump puts into the First Step Act that allows women now who are pregnant in prison never to have to go through that again.
Wow.
He made it a federal law.
Right.
And so that's just an example, man,
It's
as
just,
we talk about the Hope Report.
Yeah.
It's just not right that people don't give him credit for that.
It's so you know what's so awesome is he views every single problem like it's his only problem.
That's right.
He'll look at it and let's just focus on this, get it solved, and move on to the next one. What's the next one? What's the next one? Bring me some more. Bring me some more. You got more? Bring me some more. And what does that manifest to? Winning. You tired of winning yet?
Yep.
No, we're not tired.
We're not tired
Keep
of winning. Not tired of winning. Yeah, and so, as we end up this segment, Mike, I just want to say, man, thank you for your support. You had my back through this whole time, brother, and I really appreciate it, man. Yeah. I know you are. And so we got a big week coming up this week, and then next week, folks, look out. Mike's got a big task. He's got to win Minnesota. So he's putting together some rallies now and some town halls. I'm supporting him.
It's going to be awesome.
Yep. And I just to announce this too, I just got named to the board of the Black Voices. Yeah. And so you'll see me out there fighting, and I'll be right beside Mike fighting this fight together.
And you know what? I want to say something, Jack. I want you, this will console you a little bit. The media, when they keep attacking you, pretty soon they're going to realize you ain't going to change. It ain't going to change. So then it's like, they're just wasting time where they could be doing something constructive.
That's right. Y'all heard it right here, directly from Mr. My Pillow, Mike Lindell. Those are some words of wisdom. We got to end it up on that, man. This is Jack Brewer. I'm with Mike Lindell, level-headed, bringing you that truth. Guys, support us. Pray for us, more importantly. We give this all to God, and we just ask you all, subscribe to our show, share our show. We're doing this for the kingdom, and we just wish you and your families a great week, a great year. God bless America, and God bless you all. See you next time.